you ought to be concerned with. Moolah! You don't know how you're supposed to earn it, or what to do with it, or how to keep it. You're a freak with a dark, shameful secret. But you're not the only one. Get your hidden financial fears with a blast of sun. Now your healing has begun. It's Bad with Money with
Gabe S.
Done.
Welcome back to Bad with Money bonus bag. I almost said just between us. That's my other show. Check it out. We are back with Bri Conn of Childfree Wealth. Do you want to tell my audience who you are and what you do, or remind them at least?
Absolutely. I'm Bri and I work at Childfree Wealth. I'm the Chief Experience Officer, and we do life and financial planning for people who don't have kids and aren't planning on having kids.
What's the Chief Experience Officer? What's that?
My job is a little bit on the team side. So making sure our team is happy. Are we doing things that improve our team's lives? Are we doing things that improve our clients' lives? And are we doing things that improve both sets of people's lives, but don't irritate the other one in the process? Because some things are great for customers, some things are great for our team, but they are not great for the other person. So how can we come to some sort of conclusion that is good for everybody? It's kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say mediator. I definitely like make the compromise of what works great for both sets of people.
And can you explain about Childfree Wealth? We did an episode about this a while ago with you. You're a returning guest. Can you explain Childfree Wealth and why that's a separate entity?
Yeah. So when people don't have kids and are not planning on having kids, the biggest question we'll often ask is, do you care about how much money you leave behind when you die? Many of our clients say, nope, don't really care. Don't have anybody to leave it to. And so with that in mind, our clients are many times on more of a die with zero approach, meaning that they're just looking to make enough money to cover their expenses if they're in a relationship to cover both individual or the group's expenses. And then they don't really need to leave a ton behind when they're gone. So it's not building a giant nest egg. You know, the standard life plan says you go to school, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, you build a bunch of wealth, you retire, you die, and then you pass the money on to the next generation. Our clients aren't doing that. And so it's throwing that out the window and allowing them to live their lives in a way that is representative to them, and also means that they can make choices that they prefer and allow them to live the life they want to a little bit sooner.
How does that change for couples or for a singular person?
Fidelity did a study and they went through and figured out what's the difference between when you're in a relationship, when you're not. And it's called the Solo study. And I can send you the link to it so you can go in the show notes. But it says, you know, if you're a soloist, you're spending a lot more on your expenses because, hey, this 1-bedroom apartment that you're living in, you're paying for it all by yourself. Whereas if you're in a relationship, you can still have that 1-bedroom apartment, but that cost is split in half between two people. And it's the same thing. You know, in another episode you and I did, I talked about my spouse and I have one car and have had one car for almost 3 years now. We're sharing the cost of that car together. So it's two incomes coming in. And instead of that one income covering those expenses, it brings the expenses down, meaning that choices can be made sometimes a little bit sooner. Now, there are also some soloists out there kicking ass and who make choices that they really like and are representative of their life a bit sooner. It just depends on the income level of individual or couple in which you're talking to, and also their expenses, where they live, because where they live plays a big impact on expenses many times.
You guys know that I take testosterone and that causes your hair to thin, and my hair is thinning. And I want it to thin to a certain degree, but I don't need it to thin as much as it may end up thinning. So what can I do about that? And as you guys know, I have known about Nutrafol for a while, and I have been taking it. They were kind enough to send me some samples like a few weeks ago, and I have seen decreased shedding. Like, my hair sheds so much in the shower, and that always freaked me out, made me feel really self-conscious, like just would always think, is this too much hair? And after taking Nutrafol, I have noticed decreased shedding. This year, there is nothing holding you back from loving your hair again. Hair is so much more than what you see on the surface. It's a reflection of what's happening inside, such as my testosterone. Let Nutrafol target the key root causes of your thinning hair and help you grow stronger, healthier strands from within. Hair thinning is very common, okay? And it's very frustrating that it's kind of a new thing that's going on for me as I transition. And I need all the help I can get, especially because the shedding is so freaky. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. I cannot wait to get to the 3-month mark if it's already helping now. Physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning, okay? So they are stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, metabolism, through whole body health. Building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults, and a Headspace meditation membership is included. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy. In a clinical study, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage after taking Nutrafol Men Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months, and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol Women Hair Growth Supplements for 6 months. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code BWM. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BWM. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code BWM. You know, it's interesting because friendships can make the way for like a life that normally people would say, oh, your kid, like your kids are not gonna, you're not gonna have kids to take care of you, or your kids are not gonna be able to pay for your nursing home or whatever. Is that like a relevant thing to say to someone child free at this point?
People hear it all the time. They're like, who's gonna take care of you when you're older? That's a solution that we're working on. So hopefully we can, by the end of the year, we've got more to announce on that. I'll keep you updated when. Is it
adopt a senior?
That's good.
Hear me out. Rich old person, and they don't have kids. They're child free. They didn't ever want to raise a kid. Enter me, a 36-year-old fully grown adult. I will inherit your money and take real good care of you.
That's an option.
Yeah.
If that's the path you're looking for. We are not in the business of partnering elderly.
I see.
People.
This is sort of a sugar daddy situation. I see what I've invented here.
Yes. We are not in the sugar daddy business.
Okay, but there's no sugar involved. It's just helping.
To each their own. That's not the business that we're going to be a part of. I'm not looking to play matchmaker for any daddying. I apologize.
Fine.
But it is figuring out, okay, long-term care. What the heck are we going to do for long-term care costs? There are different options, whether it's buying long-term care insurance. The long-term care question is, or I'll finish, I guess, the different options. So there's long-term care insurance. There's self-pay where you can pay out of pocket. There's right now, well, as of the day we're recording this, there is still the Medicaid spend down option in which you can spend down all your assets and go into a Medicaid facility. Lord knows with this budget ordeal what's going to happen. So I cannot guarantee that by the time this comes out, that's still an option. Medicaid is run by the states. And then there's also the opt-out option, which is only available under certain conditions and in certain states as well. So it's really tricky. But the long-term care is such a big thing with soloists versus couples. Usually couples, it's assumed when you're buying long-term care insurance even, that one of the people in the couple will go ahead and take care of the other person for a period of time. So that's why couples tend to get a per-person discount, basically. Because they'll say, oh, well, you know, you're going to take care of them for a few years. So we're actually going to knock the price down a little bit. And If you divide it out per person, it's a little bit cheaper than if you were buying it individually.
That's interesting. That's sort of like the thing where with transitioning, I think for life insurance, if you are a man, it's a higher something because I don't know if this is correct, because you have a shorter life expectancy. If you put female on the paperwork, then they think that you'll live longer, or it's a higher for women. Versus also there was something with car insurance where they think you'll drive better if you're a man, but worse if you're a woman.
Yeah, opposite way, actually. So it's
really okay. Yeah. It's something like that. What's going on?
Yeah. So car insurance, men tend to be more expensive than women. So that's a big cost there. Long-term care insurance, the highest cost is for single women because they tend to live longer than men. And so they tend to need more care.
Right. That's what it is.
Yeah. Women will average 3.7 years in long-term care and men about 2.2 years. So they're not spending as much as long-term care. On average, at least this year, the long-term care cost is $115,000 per year, and it's going up by about 5% compounding per year. So it's expensive. There's no other way to say that. Those are kind of the breakdown when it comes to the two insurance costs, though.
Does your life insurance or disability insurance change? Do they take into account, this person has kids, so the kids could probably take care of them?
Life insurance and disability insurance aren't going to be in that, but long-term care insurance, not really. Long-term care insurance doesn't account for whether or not you have kids. It's just how much care do you need? There's different things on there. So benefit time period, how long are your benefits going to run for? Are they going to run for 2 years? Are they run for 3 years? Your daily maximum, which is how much they'll pay per day. The elimination period. So how many days are you going to pay for it out of your pocket before the insurance kicks in? Mm-hmm. And then we got how long it runs for, daily benefit period, and then inflation protection essentially is usually what their companies will call it. But is your coverage going to increase every year by inflation? If so, is it like 3%? Is it 5%? Usually 5% option. Even though care increases by 5%, the cost of insurance to have it increase by 5% is so cost prohibitive that it's okay, let's plan for the 3% one. You purchase that plan, and then you plan to pay the other gaps in there.
Not only do I have friends who have been the victims of identity theft, including someone you know very well, my co-host on my other show, Allison Raskin, but I have also been doxxed. I've been harassed. I remember when I was working at BuzzFeed, I had right-wingers trying to figure out where I lived, posting everything about me. Privacy really matters. And it not just matters to me as a public figure, but it should matter to you as a listener, especially because I've had people in my personal life harass me too. Exes, things like that, estranged family members. Do you ever wonder how much of your personal data is out there on the internet for anyone to see? It's more than you think. Your name, your contact info, your social security number, home address, even information about your family members, all being compiled by data brokers and sold online. Yes, they can find out your address very easily, even old addresses where other family members might still live. Data brokers make a profit off your data. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, and unwanted spam calls. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. As a person who exists publicly, especially as someone who shares my opinions online, I am hyper aware of safety and security, and it's easier than ever to find personal information about people online. All of this data is just hanging out on the internet, and it can have actual consequences in the real world. That's why I personally use Delete Me. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal info from hundreds of data brokers. I literally do use Delete Me. Myself, certain friends of mine, we all use Delete Me. I had it recommended to me by a friend of mine who's a sex worker, and she uses it to keep herself safe. I used it to get a bunch of stuff scrubbed off the internet. I promise you it works. It was great. They gave me these personalized updates, like When I signed up, right, I gave Delete Me the exact information I wanted deleted, and their experts took it from there. Then they sent me these personalized privacy reports showing what info they had found, where they found it, and what they removed, which I loved reading because I was shocked at what they had found. So Delete Me isn't just a one-time service. It's always working for you, constantly monitoring, removing personal information you don't want on the internet. Put simply, it does all the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal information from data broker websites. I promise you, I use it myself and a bunch of sex worker friends. We all use it. They recommended it to me, and that's how you know it works. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting BAD MONEY to 64000. Text BAD MONEY to 64000. That's BAD MONEY, all one word, to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. This is why community is important. This is why I think we're moving towards the community model, because some of my queer friends that don't have kids, they're like, well, who's going to take care of you when you're old? And they were like, well, hopefully there'll be an upcoming generation of queer, like hopefully I'll have age gap friendships and there will be an upcoming, my ex and I were friends with this old woman who lived next door. She had no kids. She had no family, and my ex and I took care of her till she died. People were like, wow, you guys just did that. Like you did all of this stuff for this woman who was dying. But it was like, she's our friend, she's our neighbor. Like what, well, more she was our neighbor, she's an next door neighbor, but she's our friend. Like we were friends with her before we knew that she was dying. There's a woman that lives next door to me. I mean, I'm making a lot of effort. There's an elderly woman that lives next door to me now that I would see around the neighborhood and stuff. I talk to her every time I see her outside. She is nuts, but I am it's like better for me to talk to her, because one, I get to hear like I get to hear her, insane stuff. Although maybe, she's a psychic, is what she says. I mean, Honora did win Best Picture, and she did tell me before they won, she said, I can't tell you any more about it, but I'm working with the team behind Honora to help them win the Oscar. She said that. She said, but I can't tell you with who. I can't tell you with who. That's like beneficial. Like, I think, I've helped her bring her groceries upstairs, blah, blah, blah. And if she needed something, we exchanged numbers. Although one time she told me she didn't have a phone, but now she does have a phone. Either way, that's the model. It's someone say, oh, Jean doesn't have kids, so she has no one to take care of her, and she cares for her husband who's in a long-term care facility. Okay, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a community aspect where she can get help. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the younger person taking the initiative too, or going up and talking to her and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think one bright spot might be coming back to that sort of model, or the problem with this idea of you must have kids in order to have community is a mistake, and it's sad.
It is. It absolutely is. Because, I don't work with parents, but I will work with parents of our child-free individuals. And many times it is like, oh, it's assumed that the kids will take care of them. And so we have to figure out, okay, what does that exactly mean for our client? What is that assumption of caring for the parent look like? Is that physically caring for them, and meaning that a parent's going to move in or not move in? Are they just going to take care of them and kind of act as their medical power of attorney or their financial power of attorney and executor on the will, all those different things for them? What does that look like? Because it can be very different. And figuring out what that is, I don't like the expectation of, oh, well, my kid's just going to pay for my long-term care. No, everybody should be expecting to pay for their own long-term care. You just have to figure out a plan for you. And that's why when people will ask our child-free clients that, I say it's not a fair question, because everybody should be planning to take care of their own long-term care, whether or not they have children.
Or make some friends. This is the problem, is you get married, you get older, you have kids, and you don't have friends, or you don't know your community. I walk around and suburban people don't know each other. In my building, when I moved into my building, the idea that I went around and tried to meet everyone in the building, mostly as a ploy to get people who will walk beans during the day. I literally made a card for everyone in the building. And I was like, hi, I'm new. I just moved into X, Y, and Z number. I have a little black chihuahua if you want to come meet him. And that was a trick to get them to fall in love with him so that when I text them and say, oh, I'm running late from work, do you mind taking beans out? They'll do it.
At least you know your motives. That's...
But also I like, it's nice to know your neighbors and talk to people and stuff. The girl next door that watches him, her mom was visiting. I never hang out with her at all. She just watches beans. She's like my age. And her mom came to visit, and the mom I was walking beans outside, and she was like, I've seen so many photos of your dog.
Like, thanks.
Yeah. And that's like, why wouldn't I? I also was like, I wanted to give them my phone number if like, I don't know, if he's barking, let me know, like that's more, I think more people we should go back to doing that.
Yeah. I think community is so important. One of my 4 core values is community and building community. And that is something that I think the world just needs more of.
I consume some true crime, but I also think true crime might also be a psyop to get people to not know their neighbors. I'm in conspiracy land. They made pull yourself up by your bootstraps. They created Uber and they started pumping out true crime podcasts, and now nobody talks to each other.
You might be right on some of that.
Thank you.
I can't say for sure. I could see possibilities.
Yeah, I'm in my house just attaching strings to each other. I like that meme of Charlie Day. Anyway, do you want to tell my audience where they can find you?
Absolutely. You can find me by just searching Childfree Wealth. It is all one word. It's childfreewealth.com. Our podcast is Childfree Wealth. And then we are on the different social platforms at Childfree Wealth as well.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Bad with Money with Gabriel S. Dunn is a production of Noted Bisexual, produced by Melisa D. Monts and Diamond MPrint Productions. Edited by Diane Kang, post-production sound by Coco Llorens, production assistance by Melanie D. Watson, and music by Mike Kaplan, Zach Sherwin, and Jack Dolgen, sung by Sam Barbera. Thank you, love you, bye!